good afternoon, and good evening. The current situation, as they say, has sent most of the world into isolation. Dangerous virus putting life on hold. Last few months have been uncertain, but trust me, there is still a lot of goodwill out there. People are investing into their creative pursuits to calm down themselves and to literally help friends, families, and even strangers from a distance. Celebrities, actors, comedians, they're all making people laugh via their social media videos. Musicians, even from Coldplay singers like Chris Martin to a young pair of violin wielding brothers in Italy, they're all performing for the audiences live from their living rooms and their neighborhoods. This left us in search of an interesting candidate who could change the beats of our everyday Red Talks by really bringing in some life to the session. The chap agreed to talk to us about his journey with the music in these times and how he really used this pursuit to spread cheer for himself and for others in these trying times. He's been playing guitar since he was 16 and was in a formal band since the age of 18. He runs his own YouTube channel and has recorded 2 albums with the band called Structures. He insisted that when we introduce the session, we call it a music disaster class. I asked him why, and he quoted the popular philosopher Nietzsche and said, I'm by no means equipped to give a master class, but what could possibly go wrong? On this note, welcome Ian for this very lyrical and a soulful Red Talk session on music.
Hello, how's it going?
How are you? Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, surviving.
Great. So for this session, Ian, we have collected the questions earlier, and we are going to make it more like a Q&A, so as to get readers or listeners also hooked on to what really went behind the journey, and also listen to some very good numbers coming from you.
Hopefully, yes.
Great. Tell us about your passion and love for music, and where did you discover it, how it grew? Most importantly, who inspired you to make music?
So I think that would be down to my dad constantly playing a band called The Shadows in the car whenever we went on road trips. I became really, really interested in, because they're like an instrumental band, so I was really into Hank Marvin's guitar playing. I guess if I really put it down, like I'd like to say it was someone much cooler, but no, I think it was probably Hank that inspired me.
Great.
A lot of my guitar playing is fairly Shadows influenced. Yes.
Yeah. And how would you describe the music that you typically create?
The music that I typically create on my own is quite ambient. There's a genre called post-rock that Structures, the band that I'm in, played post-rock, post-metal kind of stuff, and on my own, just post-rock, less metal, basically.
Oh, that's so interesting. Are you working on something currently? Would you like to play that for us?
Yeah, sure. I've got this loop kind of thing that I've been set up. I put it out on my Instagram channel and it's on my YouTube as well. But I'll play it for you now. Yes, I'll talk you through how I'm doing it as well. So first of all, we'll just start a little melodic loop. Here we go. So that's looped now. Just trying to play in time with the echoes. I'll roll the tone back on my guitar so that I don't have to pick up my bass. And I'll create a bass line once the loop comes around again. So we're just layering that in as well. Now that's looping. I like to add a little bit of melodic sprinkling on top, another interweaving melody line, which will come in a second. just add a little extra sprinkling on top, just for extra post-rockness. Just let that fade away. So that's how I'm doing it at the moment. I just like assemble, get an idea, make sure that's looping nicely, write something on top of it. I've been recorded that into Cubase as well, to try and produce them properly, put some drums on top as well, so that it's a bit more band-centric sounding rather than just, me noodling away.
This is so intriguing. The medley was so intriguing. Very interesting. When I first spoke with you, you said initially you couldn't really figure out during the lockdown what music, what goes in, how do you go about it. Do you want to talk to us about it? I think it'd be a good idea. And then what brought you back on? Yeah.
I mean, I've been very... Oh, crikey, that's all echoey. Yeah, I've been very uninspired for quite a while.
You could say that loudly.
Sorry, I leant in a little bit too close to the mic there. Yeah, I've been uninspired for quite a while because I didn't have all my equipment set up. And so, if you're like, oh, I feel a bit, I'm ready to do stuff. And then you put all your pedals and equipment together and you're like, I'm tired now. Tired. It takes ages. So me and my wife moved into a house and I've got an attic room now, which is all set up with my pedals and guitars and stuff. So I've been kind of fiddling around, and then I went out for a walk once the lockdown had started, and I was just contemplating what was going on. I got a little bit of a melody in my head, came back, wrote that first guitar line, and it just flowed from there. Like, I've been not super productive, but more productive than I've ever been before. Definitely. So it's it's good. I mean, that's the definite positive I've taken away from this. And I've been contacting all of my friends that play music as well. Like, they've been recording things, sending them to me. I've been putting things on top of that. And we've just, there's one video that I did with my wife's friend Lucy and her dad, where he plays drums and she sings, and then I played guitar as well. It's been a lot of fun, and it continues to be a lot of fun. Because I'm relentlessly arranging collaborations with people, and it's great. Everyone musical seems to be super inspired at the moment. So I like it.
That I agree on. In fact, on the same note, how are you using music to create and spread cheer outside? Are you doing podcasts? What are the other activities that you're doing around it?
For years and years, well, about 3 years now, I've been doing a podcast called We Dig Music with my friends Colin and Tracy. We pick two bands, a smaller band and a larger band, so it's like a gig really, and we talk about them. We're moving alphabetically, so we'll pick two bands beginning with A, talk about those. Then the next episode will be, we've been through the alphabet twice now, and that's a lot of good fun. And then I do another podcast called Free with This Month's Issue, where we discuss magazine CDs. So, you used to get a music magazine and it'd have a cover mounted CD, and we have a guest on who picks the CD, and then we'll go back and we'll do a track by track run through of that CD, see how well they've aged, because obviously free CDs were a thing more like 10-15 years ago. So many of the tracks have not aged well, and many of the bands that were like the new hot thing no one has heard of. It's really good fun, and I've been guesting on literally any podcast that will have me. So.
That's so cool. And are there any numbers, any songs that you would want to recommend to us? Any apps?
I would personally check out the Quarantine Sessions by Devin Townsend. He's done 3 40-minute concerts now, in aid of, like, the first one was a hospital in New York, because second one was the NHS, and then there was a Canadian hospital. And it's really shambolic, like the production. He's got like a mobile phone camera mounted to a rotating fan that just pans across him as he plays and things like that. But he's a super talented musician. So Can't recommend that enough. There's loads of people doing stuff, like Scott Ian from Anthrax is teaming up with the other guys from Anthrax and doing some old songs and stuff like that. It's a creative gold mine out there at the moment. Just check stuff out on YouTube, see what people are up to. And I personally have been really leaning on Spotify. Like my the Release Radar playlist is just absolutely stellar, because I've
think
got
we
a
want
lot.
to take a look at your playlist and not really only listen to it.
Yeah, sure. Let's.
Yeah.
I'm just going to present my screen. Right. Okay. Presenting, and then we'll just pop into Spotify so we can see. Is that presenting yet? Yeah. Can you see me? My screen? There we go. So this is my, like, I've got a lot of podcast.
Yeah, we can see it, but I think you'll have to give out a few numbers, like really narrate them, because
yeah. So I'm gonna find my Release Radar playlist. Here we go. I'll click into that one, and obviously Spotify, the algorithm creates playlists based on what you've been listening to, and so it's either like, here's a new band, or here's a new track by a band that you like here's Hypnodancer, the new single by Little Big. It's not their best work, but it's great fun. They're worth watching the videos of, Little Big. Then from the ridiculous to the sublime, there's a new track by Mogwai, who I'm very fond of, so I was super excited when this popped up. Also, and by I Like Trains. I thought they, as a band, had split up. So this is another thing that Spotify is great at, is if you've fallen out of touch with a band and you've just, like, it's hard to keep track of what everyone's doing, and then it will be like, you listened to this band 5 years ago, here's their new song, and you're like, oh my god, that's amazing. So yeah, basically, I mean, let's ignore this Shaggy and Sting, the collaboration no one saw coming. Let's ignore that. Everything else is amazing on here.
Yeah.
Every now and again, there's some guilty pleasures. We've all got them. So I'm going to stop presenting that now and come back. What I recommend is just get yourself a Spotify account, create as many playlists as possible, and then wait for the Spotify generated ones to start coming in, and you're going to have the best time rediscovering old bands, discovering new bands. Yeah, Spotify are great. Is great.
Absolutely. Thank you. While we weren't really planning to take any questions, now this is a request I don't think I'd want to ignore. You would know what I'm talking about. Good Riddance, The Time of Your Life. Just go live with it. Even if it's a karaoke. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, let's have a go. Literally never played this one live before, but I know the chords because everyone does. So let's see. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this chance and don't ask why. It's not an answer, but a lesson learned in time. There's something unpredictable, in the end it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. Wow, that wasn't awful. I'm pretty pleased with that. I can only remember the first one.
Absolutely. And for a first go, really interesting. So while you were busy digging out the details of the session, doing things and helping us with the pre-runs, we also went and did some research. And here are a couple of pictures that we came across. The internet, here, there, somewhere. Maybe you'd like to talk about a couple of those. Or maybe just go down in one moment.
Yeah, go on. Let's see what kind of embarrassment you've dug up.
Could you see the screen now?
I can. That's a picture from the second album launch we did. You can see that there's a tiny little projection behind me. The plan was to have like a massive wall covering projection of like cool imagery, But the guy who was going to lend us a projector couldn't at the last minute, so we got one from my old office, and that was the biggest it would project. So it went really well other than that. But it's musicians call it the Spinal Tap Factor. There's a film called Spinal Tap where it's a band going on tour. They haven't been on tour in America for ages, and just all kinds of tiny little things happen. And this was a Spinal Tap moment. We agreed to have a massive projector. We had a tiny little window. That's all that needs to be said about that picture.
See, doesn't it bring back so many good memories? Here's another one.
That is that's the Monster pedal board. I built it. It was great. It's about 1.5 meters long, surrounded by aluminium. It looked beautiful. It was incredibly heavy. It didn't fit in the boot of my car properly. I quickly moved to a smaller and more compact solution. It's one of those things that seems like a great idea at the time, and then you do it and you're like, why did I do this? This is silly.
To an amateur novice like me, it looks like one of those science projects. Can't fathom, can't underneath.
Yeah, pretty much. That's my old guitar rig there. You can see that there's a lot of pedals lying on the floor there. Mm-hmm. And that is when I just had my mid-60s Carlsbro PA amp, which is lovely sounding. I still have that, but I've got more amps now. And my old Telecaster. I love that guitar. I picked it up the other day for the first time in ages. There's me sitting on the floor with the Telecaster again. Yeah. I think I was on the phone to someone. I used to love that T-shirt. I don't wear it anymore because it smells incredibly bad now. I had it for about 15 years, lots of gigs. That's me recording a part. You can see I've got my headphones on and my eyes are closed, deep in concentration. That's from the sessions for our first album. I can't tell you from the chord what exactly I was playing at that point in time, but as you can tell from my face, I was really, really into it.
Totally.
Concentrating hard. And again, more recording sessions. That's a much more arty shot, though. I'm pretty fond of that one. And that is from one of our Structures live shows. We had some televisions on stage for the visuals that time. Mm-hmm. That's good. Again, that was another thing that looked great at the time, and then the practicalities of it, not great. We went back to the rehearsal studio where we've just about crammed all of our amps on, and then we were like, okay, now where do we fit these 5 CRT TVs? We just stacked up in the corner, looking very precarious for a while. The joys of being a musician and having some kind of visual identity as well is tricky.
And look at this one. Totally into the groove.
Yes, this is rehearsal for my wedding, actually. I played at my own wedding. This is the guys from Structures, and then the angry-looking man who's directly under the spotlight is my friend Alex, who's moved over to Iceland now. I've not seen him in ages. There's my best mate Colin in the corner there, the little ginger guy as well. Yeah, I think we're doing we're doing a David Bowie song there, I think, if I remember rightly. So yeah, let's dance, I think.
Great. That was our quick thing to bring you down the memory lane. While we talk about it, there's very interesting request that's come in. I wanted to give it a pass, but such a vintage, I am too tempted to. Bob Marley, the Redemption Song. Oof. Let's just give it a go.
Yeah, sure. Let's let us try this. Pirates came and took I sold on to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pits, my head was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. forward this generation triumphantly. Won't you sing with me? Songs of freedom, it's all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song. Now do the second verse because everyone thinks it's the chorus. So emancipate yourself from human slavery. None but ourselves will be our mind. Have no fear of atomic energy, none of them can stop the tide. How long will they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Oh, they say it's just a part of it to fulfill the book. Oh, won't you sing with me these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song. There you go.
If you can hear me clap, brilliant. This one was very good. So which
Awesome.
is your favorite song, Ian, to perform?
Oh man, you're not going to ask me to do it, are you?
I might just.
I don't know. Like I used to do a song called Electric Worry by a band called Clutch. I haven't played that in ages, and in my defense, I've got a weird like nerve thing in my hand, so I can't play very well at the moment.
Okay.
I was jamming on a therapy song called Loose the other day, which is quite fun.
Okay.
Just usually just like 3-chord punky stuff I like to play if I'm doing like an open mic or something like that. Recording wise, anything that kind of challenges me vocally, because I'm trying to become a better singer at the moment. So
on that note, which is your favorite singer, one of the famous ones that you really admire?
I absolutely love Morton Harkett from a-ha. This is another kind of guilty pleasure because, you know, look at me. I've got my beard, I've got my guitar, I'm all metal and stuff like that. But a-ha were one of the first bands that really stuck with me, and I just love his voice so much. If I could sing like Morton Harkett, I would not speak. I would just sing everything. I boldly attempted a cover of that on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out if you want. Up to you.
Okay, great. There's another one very interesting question I don't want to pass up on. Do you like singing in the shower? If do, what songs? I could have easily skipped it had you been nicer and sung that favorite one for me or played that favorite one for me. But now I'm going to stick to this.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Like I sing everywhere. I sing in the obviously in the shower because you've got a little bit of reverb in there. It sounds amazing. No one can see you, so you can really go for it. Oh, everyone sings in the shower. If you don't, you're a liar. That's what I'm saying. My most embarrassing singing at the moment, I was singing along to White Wedding by Billy Idol in my car. I pulled up at some traffic lights and I was just really going for it. You know, the nice day to start again, like really, really giving it my rock voice and stuff. And it became very obvious to me that people were staring at me. Then it became obvious that my elbow was cold. And that was because my window was down and I was leaning out of the window with my elbow.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, everyone can hear me. Oh no. So I just kind of casually rolled the window up like, nothing to see here. And then the lights turned green and I drove away in my embarrassment.
Great. Thank you. While we're talking about this, Ian, there are a lot of compliments, a lot of questions, a lot of requests coming in our way. Linkin Park, Pink Floyd being the predominant ones. If you decide to pick up a song, because we know you have a nerve thing also, just let me know. Otherwise, the next question is from the person who helped us meet, Emily. She says, what is your advice to somebody who has never picked up a musical instrument before, but now has the time to explore it as a new hobby? How should he or she pick this up?
There's a lot, like because of the lockdown, there's a lot of brands doing free things at the moment. On my phone, I've got a program called the Korg, I think it's the Chaosilator or something like that. And that's a really easy music generation thing. That's free. It's on your phone. So, you know, you don't even need to go out and buy anything. Then I think Fender have offered free membership of their teaching platform. And that's actually very good. I sat down and did a couple of lessons to get myself back into it. They've got videos that you can play along with and things like that. So just look around, pick an instrument that you think sounds fun and go for it. Everyone in music shops, like if you go into a guitar shop, everyone's going to be super helpful because they're the best people that work in guitar shops. And stick with it. Like, it doesn't come overnight. Your ability will grow slowly. And if it's a stringed instrument like guitar, my gosh, your hands are going to hurt. Like, you'll be trying to get your fingers into chord shapes. You'll be playing. The strings will make the tips of your fingers so sore. But stick with it. It's super rewarding. Super rewarding. Like anything, you know, like fitness. You start running. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And in the end, you're just like, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I did this.
Absolutely. While we were digging up for a couple of pictures, trying to rake the internet, we also tried to look at YouTube at your official channel. Here's a very interesting song that stayed by me, and I thought I'd play it for everybody. Here goes.
Okay.
So that I think the lines that stuck by me were I'm odd at ends, but I'll be stumbling away. I thought it'd be a good idea for us to share it here. For anybody and for all the listeners who are tuned in and have not been able to listen to it due to the network issues, I'm going to put this on RE Plus shortly. I think that is pretty much a very interesting end to a conversation, Ian. Thank you for taking out the time. Team,
not a problem.
The reason for today's session and to bring Ian on board was to actually bring out a message to everybody that there is no crisis that does not come to an end. The idea is to keep at it with full confidence, to shower back, come back with a big plan and a lot of effort and self-belief. I hope we have motivated ourselves enough to keep up and keep strong on any or all of the creative pursuits that you guys like. On this note, thank you, Ian, for your time. It was wonderful having you for the Red Talk session today. Very interesting numbers. Thank you so much for playing along. Thank you, Yatin. Thank you, Nazia. Good evening, team. Take care of yourself. We come back tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.